Hey, hey. I wonder if everybody can hear me. I can hear me. Man, I had microphone troubles again. I had a whole other microphone set up and bam, it didn't work. So then and I was all ready to go and everything, just ready. And had to start over with the microphone stuff, really do a whole setup. Hope everyone can hear me fine. And it's a beautiful Saturday night. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can find the chat. Let's see. Chat. There it is. Hey, Adolf and Nate. How's it going, guys? Yeah, man. It is really a nice. Let's see. What is this? It says evening all. Oh, Mr. Lurks a lot. Hey, my mouse is hiding ya. How are ya? Yeah, we went out, me and I should say it the right way, right? Adolf and we went out the other day, last weekend, about a week, and had some fun. And I have some video, only I'm still in the edit process of it. But I might be able to show you guys some stuff. Hey, Sandy Can too. How you doing? But yeah, we went out and we visited with World Bigfoot Radio. Hey, how are ya? And Renee, how are you? We went out and we visited with this guy that he runs a campground, and they have all kinds of stuff going on over there. Like maybe there's a portal or something. Hey, Hummingbird 2100. 2100. Am I saying that right? Or is it 21100? But we went out there, and I'm going to make an effort to sit down with him and his wife. They didn't have time that day, but I mean, they are seeing stuff, Bigfoot, Dogman, even other weird little animals. Like they saw what they thought was like a mini wolf carrying a rabbit in its mouth, and it ran at an ungodly speed and disappeared really quick. And then he was telling us about, he saw a wild pig, which there's lots of wild pigs around there, only it was right next to him. He said like 50 feet, and they were moving, and they turned around so that they could spotlight it. And when they got, and they're in a golf cart, so how fast can you turn around, right? And the road is really wide, so they didn't have to do any kind of weirdness. They just turned around really quick, hit the spotlight, and it was gone. Now, in order for it to be gone like that, it would have had to run 125 yards in any direction for anything for it to hide behind or anything. And I was pretty intrigued with that. I thought it was really cool. And then I've been seeing in Facebook there, you have the Facebook groups. In this one particular group, there is a gentleman in there that has some videos and pictures that are like, leaves no doubt. I mean, I know that Nate and Adolf, they know what I'm talking about, and probably others too. I just don't know who all's in the group. But I asked tonight if he would, allow me to share the videos, or if he wants to come on and with the videos and some of the pictures and talk about it, or whatever, whatever he wants to share. I would, and I just think it needs to be shared. That it isn't about, I got this really cool, stuff I'm going to share. Ooh, no, this stuff is really good, and it needs to be shared beyond a group. It like takes out the doubt of a Bigfoot completely. I mean, there's no way they could. There's no way they could like fake this stuff. Hey, Bobby, I believe there are two, Nate, and one of the things. Oh, it's OB51D14 and 6 hours and 505T. I know that is a word, but I can't remember what it is now at the moment. But hey, what's up? You're a lifetime member of the Facebook jail group. I avoid at all costs trying to be in there, even though I don't get on Facebook that much. And I'm also guilty of putting my phone down and tablet and getting busy and doing things, not tethered to my phone or any kind of electronic thing. Obsidian Ghost. There you go. I remember now. Yeah, the one that really got my attention was the where they were out there and he was using his cell phone and you could see the eye shine, and it really wasn't eye shine because they weren't flashing lights. These eyes were glowing and moving, and there was more than one of them. There was two or three of them, and you could see them turning their heads and moving around, and you could see the actual glowing eyes in the video. And then a little later, he put up a picture of a baby one that it was trying to hide, and you could see it perfect. Looked like a little monkey is what it looked like. I mean, it wasn't one of those ones where I get lots of emails and people share pictures with me and stuff like that, and I got to tell you, there might be something there, but I can't see it. I mean, it has to be. I guess I don't have what it takes to see things in pictures unless it's just like obvious. And this was so obvious. It looked like a little monkey. The only difference was the nose of this thing was it had a hooded nose, and the monkeys are flat with the nostrils sticking straight out. And this wasn't like that. It had a little hood on the nose. Hey, bad boy, how you doing? And yeah, Bama has some good stuff too. Only they have their own YouTube channel. If they ever want to share it, reach out to me, and I'll invite them on and we'll chat and share some videos. I haven't got any videos lately. It's been this COVID thing has turned my whole world upside down. I mean, I've lost several friends to it. I mean, like they're gone off the world. Recently, a stepfather and an uncle, and I mean, and then my son. One of my sons has just found out hairy cell leukemia and started his chemo and everything. So I mean, you could Adolf knows. We've been every weekend, it's like, hey, are you gonna go out? Yeah, I'm gonna go. And then a couple days later I got to tell him, no, I can't go. Just so much stuff going on. Just crazy stuff. I'll be glad when this whole thing is over. Really, it's too much, but I think you can type in Bama BF like that in a YouTube search, and you can find the Bama Bigfoot. Go Obsidian Ghost. Yeah, it's good to see all you guys, and I've been meaning to come on. I've been having when, by the time I'm done with everything, and I look at the clock, it's 11 o'clock and PM Pacific time, and that's even too late for the Pacific people. And the weekends have been just crazy. You have to be a mod to do that. Like, how do I do that? Let me see here if I can make them Yeah, it's not really hard for me. It's not really hard for me. It's I think the just the stress, you know. I'm fine really. I mean, I have my regular whatevers, but I'm fine really. Let me see. I don't know how to make anybody I don't know if I can do it in here or if I have to do it in YouTube. Let me see here. If I go in YouTube, I don't want it to play audio. So if I go in chat and World Bigfoot, let me see. Add mod. Oh, I see. There's a whole bunch of you that don't have the ranch. Well, let me fix that. Add mod. Bad boy. Add mod. Who else isn't a mod? I think I got you all. And I did have to do it in. Okay. So I did have to do it in YouTube. All right. Cool. Yeah, that's the name you would type in and you can see those videos. You're so welcome. I want everybody to be a mod in here that is a regular viewer or a regular friend of mine, visitor, visit with me. I don't like saying subscriber or viewer. You guys are my friends. I don't care if there's a million of you. You're all my friends. If you're tuning in and enjoying everything, is like enjoying the camaraderie of all of us hanging out, then I'm good with it too. And that's how just how I roll. I'm not here for the views and the hundreds of millions of people. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But if you notice, I don't even have my YouTube. When you watch any older videos, some of them I might have not caught yet, but pretty much I think I have all of them unmonetized or no monetization. So there's no ads and YouTube can't make me, you know. And I just like it because I feel like we're one big family and we're all interested in the same thing. I like to share everything I find. I don't hide stuff. And I know I've been with some people that they like to keep everything hush hush, top secret. People might come in and they might shoot the Bigfoot. Yeah. If anyone was going to shoot a Bigfoot, we would have heard about it already. Because I'm sure there's plenty out there that are hunting the Bigfoot to shoot it so they can make a bazillion, gazillion dollars. And I pity the fool that shoots one because they're probably going to wind up in a missing 411 book or never be found again. Because the Bigfoots I know that I am around, and believe me, I've been at this 30 years and I've seen a lot of stuff. And even with a 300 Weatherby Magnum, I would felt undergunned, like I didn't have enough gun. And I always felt like the skills were way past my skill level, even though grew up in the woods with guns and reloaded my own ammunition, the whole 9 yards, tracking. They outclass me bazillions to one. There's no way. And even if I even had one, the very first one that I watched, almost 2 hours. And I tell some people like a little over an hour. Really, it was more like 2 hours, close to 2 hours. And I could have shot it several times and it never entered my mind. First, I thought it was a man. And then when I realized it wasn't a man, it was like, WTF, and then this thing's been in the woods my life, probably. You know, I mean, like all kinds of stuff went running through my head. And I was 27 years old. I've been like hunting with my parents since I was 5. And they used to get mad at me. I would be dragging my feet and making dust and couldn't keep still. And they allowed me while they taught me stuff, you know, like sneaking up on them and tracks and how old are the tracks and what made the track and which direction are they going. And I mean, is this track made this morning and 20 minutes ago, or was it yesterday, a week ago? You know, I mean, like all that stuff. And then when I started, you know, after I seen the Bigfoot, like one of the very first times out that I went out looking for him, and I already knew where to look and what time of the year to be there from talking to the people that were teaching me everything. They seen him before and they didn't tell me. And that made me kind of mad because I thought I should have known about something like that. I mean, they would let me wander around in the woods. And I mean, I used to play a game when I was 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And you know, I had 4 sisters and a brother, and then we camped with another family, and they had 3 kids, and one of the oldest was the same age as me, and a male. I mean, we would sit there and shoot 30-06s all day long at 11 years old. Shoot the lizards off the rocks. I mean, we wiped out the whole lizard population on the whole side of the mountain one year. But the first time out as an adult, I was 27, and I decided I was going to track one. I started looking for tracks, and I realized that I had to go off trail to find the tracks. And within 20 minutes, I found some tracks, and they were fresh, and they were actually following a cow path. They have and a horse trail, and this thing stepped on, followed that trail about probably half a mile, but it was like moon dust, and you could see it perfect with, you know, the little lines in the footprint. And I followed that thing for probably about 4 miles, right up to the top of this mountain above the tree line. And then right in the middle of this way open area, I mean, like real open, no boulders, no trees, just decomposed granite was on the top of it. It looked like sand, kind of a coarse sand, but I could still see the footprints perfect. And right in the middle of it, they ended. I mean, there was a step, and then one last step, and no more tracks. I mean, right away at that point, right then, I mean, after what I saw, how it got away from me the very first time I saw it, I already knew it had abilities way past me. But then when I seen that, then I knew that, wow, this thing has abilities that are supernatural, you know, like Trip B. I was tripping on that. Hey, Dave, how you doing? I better go back and see if I'm missing anything. Yeah, Nate, we interviewed a lot of people, and I mean in all areas of paranormal, you know, UFOs and Bigfoot and, you know, ghosts and hauntings, and oh my gosh, you know, quantum physics. And I mean, we probably interviewed oh man, the Sierra Sounds, and I don't know why his name is uh well, anyways, the one that found the Sierra Sound, we probably interviewed him for 4, 5 times. One time with his daughter, Ron Moorhead, 4 or 5 times. We interviewed David Paulides about 3 times. We we were really we talked to a lot of people, a lot of UFO stuff. Man, there was some UFO sightings that I wish I could see them. Like this lady working in a school, and I think I saw Christina. Hey, Christina, I thought I saw you go by. It just hit my mind. Oh, somewhere. I think you're out there though. Hey, Woolly Booger. Yeah, we interviewed JC Johnson. I'm thinking about 3 or 4 times too. He became a friend, really, and I never met him personally, but we had a lot in common. And I always wanted to go out and investigate with him because he was like no nonsense, and he knew what he was doing. He when you got out in the woods with that guy, you knew that you were with somebody that wasn't gonna do something really stupid and get everybody hurt or killed. Or I mean, it he was a one of a kind. I miss that guy. I don't live too far from where Ron Moorhead and them were having the Sierra Sounds. In fact, the Sierra Sounds they were getting were across. It would be like Yosemite National Park, and I'm on the south side of it, and on the north side of it, between there and Tahoe is where they were getting those sounds. You know, but yeah, he's really cool. I've heard of Central Camp being haunted. Yes, I have. In fact, the I've heard of other things at Central Camp in the middle of the night, like sounds. Like we camped there up there. We would deer hunt there. The northeast boundary. See, I'm in Clovis right now, but if you know where El Pertel is, that's where I grew up. El Pertel. At least until I was around 12, we moved to Fresno, but it didn't mean that we didn't go back up there every freaking weekend in the summer and then deer season too. So I was on the west side of the gate, the what is it, Highway 120 or something like that goes in. We lived right there at the almost to the gate, at the Arch Rock gate. And but we my parents and their friends, they started camping together before I was born, and they were every weekend. That was their thing. And they had a really one of their favorite places. They even built kind of like something what Ron Moorhead built, or what they had built up there in the forestry. One year, I was around 17 or something like that, and we went up there, and the forestry had ripped it all down and sawed it all apart, so we didn't have our little structure. And really it was just one wall with some windows on it and a fireplace with a little door. And then we had logs going over, and we just put tarps on it. We just strap tarps to these logs and make walls that didn't have a roof. It was just that. And they said we couldn't have structures up there. Whirlwind? Like what do you mean whirlwind? I have not heard of anything like that. But I've heard of a lot of stuff in Yosemite, a lot. And I've seen a lot of stuff in Yosemite, but it was mostly people drowning and stuff like that. A lot of people drown in the Merced River every year, at least a couple. What is the significance of smoke to Indians? Hey, Knuckleavi or let's see, Knuckle. I'm not sure how to say that. But you know who I'm talking to. How's it going? I haven't heard of whirlwinds except for reading the Bible about that, and then I think it was either an angel or God making that whirlwind, but the Bible kind of says it was God. Nuck. Yeah. And so I haven't heard of whirlwinds, not inside the mountains, anyways. Now, I was warned when I was really little. My parents or my dad and his best friend that always, hunted and camped. They, when I was really little, they always told me, because they would let me run wild. I could go anywhere I wanted. And they always told me, I mean, after we saw, after I saw the Bigfoot, they told me that I didn't have to worry about Bigfoot as long as I left them alone and I didn't, shoot at them or anything like that. I would be fine. But they told me about stairways in the mountains, that you would happen on a stairway or a staircase that went to nowhere, and they said, don't play on it, don't get on it, don't ever, if you see one, go the other way, do not get on it, because if you get on it, it's kind of like a portal and you'll disappear and you'll never be able to get back. Scared me pretty good. I never seen one though, and believe me, I always look for those things because they told me, and so far everything they taught me, I've encountered pretty much everything except for that. I never encountered the stairway thing, but they have. I mean, they had. And then in Central Camp, it was the noise at night, like it sounded like radio waves. We would get up in the morning and they would say, "Did you hear that?" Woo, woo. All night. I never heard it, and I was sleeping outside. They slept in a tent, and they made us sleep out on the ground. They would spread a tarp out, and we would put our sleeping bags all on there, something like 9 kids, and then they would throw another tarp over it so we wouldn't be wet from the dew or rain or snow or whatever. We just get under there. But there was another one. It was the car, or it sounded like a vehicle climbing a hill, but it never got any closer or ever got any further. It was just the sound of this engine droning, like climbing a hill. And we always thought it was going to show up, but after several hours, you could still hear it, but it was the same sound. It wasn't any closer. It wasn't any further. And I experienced that a few times. I don't know what it is. It's not a car or, a vehicle. It never made it. It was stuck somewhere, But I've heard that a few times. And there was another one. It was clanking and banging and stuff like that underneath the earth at Central Camp. And it sounded like heavy machinery or something underneath the ground. And you could hear it like when it was quiet in the evening, in the middle of the night, you would hear these heavy machinery noises underneath the ground. And most of everywhere we were was granite rock. So, I mean, we've talked about it a bazillion times up there. Like, is there really machinery somewhere, and the vibration is, the rocks carry the vibration really well and we hear it that way. but you couldn't feel any vibration. You could just hear it, but it seemed louder, like it was close, close. That's what I thought. And it didn't happen all the time either. That it was just every so often. Comes this helicopter. He's been circling my house. Sounds like he's out there again. Really weird. Weird, weird. Yeah, we talked about that dumps, but see, like that was like early 70s, late 60s, and that stuff was pretty much unknown. Even though uh in the first like in August, we would step up our efforts to figure out the movement of the deer and which way they're moving and how we actually did it all summer long, but in August we really stepped it up and would try to figure out all the movement and everything. And sometimes down in the river canyon we would come across tunnels, man-made, way back in the middle of nowhere. And they, I was told by some power people that they have more tunnels closer to where they have generators and hydroelectric stuff, but these are like way back there, at the headwaters of rivers and stuff, way. And some of these tunnels are big enough to drive two semi trucks side by side into it. And we always were too afraid to go too far in it. Like if it was a hydro project or something that nobody knew about and they released water, you would be a goner, So we didn't really get in there very much and investigate too much. Into the nothingness. Hey, how's it going? It's good to be here. It really is. My wife chewed me out. She goes, not again. She wanted to, I don't know, sit in here and watch a movie or something. I don't know. I'm not a movie guy. Don't ask me about movies. Cool. It's actually getting pretty nice. This is my best time of the year right now. For me, it's not too hot and it's not too cold. And all winter, I'm going to be getting out a little more than what I had this summer. This summer I wanted to get out so bad. I mean, we made it out, I don't know, a half a dozen times or maybe a little more. Only this winter I'm going to be trying to get out at least twice a month and do some cool stuff. Yeah, Phil Snyder, he does. I mean, if nobody heard of that guy, you should look him up on YouTube. He talked about a lot of things that, these underground dumps and stuff. Then they found him strangled and then said it was, they said he was suicide. Yeah, sure. You strangle yourself with like a airline tube or a rubber tube, and like, no, he didn't. He didn't. He was actually being stalked by the government, and they already had tried to kill him a bunch of times. I feel bad for him because I mean he was warning everyone. Him and William Cooper, you can look that guy up too. A lot of information that they talk about then makes a whole lot more sense today with what we're going through today. Yeah, they offed him. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow. Conspiracy Corner. I don't know if I've ever heard that one. I don't know if I've ever looked at that one. Yeah, I don't think he was lying either. Let me see here if I can Share. Auto add screen video to stream. So if I go like that, video share features use more works best on high-end computers. Oh, I understand, and I proceed. And I wanted to share this one video. Adolf and I went up to the Kings and we went walking. You know, and I don't know if let me see if I can turn this audio down. No, this isn't the right video. Lots of mud hens. How to stop it now. I want to get it out of there. So maybe Okay. Let me try that again. That didn't work. It would be, I heard, now, it's not this lake, but in another lake, when I was 13 or 14, I was a sheriff explorer. And my dad was a sergeant in the sheriff's department. My uncle was a sergeant in the sheriff's department. And in the summer, I would put on my little sheriff uniform they gave me, and I would go hang out at the sheriff's department, and I would work for this captain. They had, his name was Captain Psalms, and he had these, he would, when the officers were out, they would write these, like, if they pull somebody over, but they didn't give them a ticket or anything, but they thought they were suspicious or something like that, they would write at what they called a FI card, like an information type card, but they called it an FI card. And it would have all the information of these people and what they thought and everything. And they would turn them in to the captain, and the captain would put them in these file cabinets, and I would sit in there and I would file these things into the cabinet alphabetically. And one day I was there and I was hanging out in the basement, and where they had their locker room and everything, and a little lunch room, and we were having our lunch, and the sheriff divers came in, and they had some Polaroid pictures that they had taken, and they called everybody around to look at these pictures. And the store, what they said was, is they got hired by the state of California because it was a state park, and this dam was in there, and they were cleaning the screens at the bottom of the dam. And it was while the lake was the lowest, and they were cleaning the screens going into the turbines. And then they turned everything off so it didn't suck them in there. But when they were down there, they were taking pictures of each other with this Polaroid they had that was set up for underwater use. And in one of the pictures, they're all, doing I think it was Nixon's days, so they're all doing the Nixon thing. But right next to him, let's see if I could do this. It was like right next to the guy on his shoulder, right here, you could see half of a catfish head. half. Like you could see one eye and the mouth, and then it went out of the picture, and it was huge, right? I mean, even half of its head was bigger than the head of the diver. And that was their last day too. They said once they saw that picture, they wouldn't go in there anymore. They said the catfish are worse than sharks. They would, if they're big enough to swallow you, they'll swallow you. They eat anything, right? Other fish, anything that they could fit, they'll eat. So they wouldn't go back down there. And it was interesting. I stared at that picture. They had a couple of them, and with that guy, with the catfish right next to him, and I was, it looked like the catfish had one eye right there, eyeballing this dude, like, yeah, man, we're gonna eat this dude. But yeah, they freaked out. It was like a monster catfish. Central Camp. Yeah, catfish, they will eat you. If they're big enough to eat you, they'll eat you, according to these sheriff deputies. That's what they told me. Yeah, it would be the fish noodling. They would be noodling people. But it was interesting, and I always wanted to see if I could get a copy of that and find those guys, but heck, all the deputies, they were all, my dad's passed. My uncle, I haven't heard from him in a long time. He owns a whole bunch of houses and lives in a mansion on the other side of town. I talked to him a few years ago. I looked him up in the phone book and called him up and surprised him. he was, and he still remembered me and everything, and he was almost 90. So I don't suppose that if he's still around, it'll surprise me. But I haven't heard. His wife passed, and he had one daughter, and we didn't stay in touch. After my dad passed, we didn't stay in touch that much. Too sadly, because I like to stay in touch with everybody. I'm that guy that it makes me feel good if somebody passes, and I try to stay in touch, and it makes me feel good that I didn't let life go by and not staying, close to my family. But there's a few, they're out of state, and or they set themselves out there away and make no contact and don't return calls. I can't help that. Yeah, I heard about that. So what do you guys think happened? Like, they were saying they might have drank the water, and there was something in the water. And I thought the dog, the baby, they all expired at the same time. No, heat exhaustion. That was the other one. And they all expired at the same time again, all in the same place, all laying there, that, why would the baby have heat exhaustion or dehydration or whatever? Like, it doesn't make any sense. None. Everything they so far have put out does not make sense. It is strange. And then even stranger is when they were investigating it, they had jet fighters from Lemoore searching the area, 4 jet fighters, and for like a week flying over the area. Like, what would they be doing? I know they have a lot of tech in those jets. So I mean, I've heard stories of these jets in Iraq seeing things, and and they were seeing Bigfoot over in Iraq and Afghanistan in the mountains. And they said when they locked the camera on these Bigfoot, the Bigfoot would know that they were locked on. They would actually be ducking the beams, so the IR beams, like they could see them. So I mean, these guys are freaking out when, that they knew they were being searched for, or locked in with these IR beams. And then it just proves that what I thought for the last 10 years, that these things can see in the IR. Because I mean, we tried everything with IR and they can see it. Yeah, they did autopsies, and that they said they don't know what killed him. Like there was no violence or anything. Hey, C, what's up? Yeah, I don't sadly I don't, what do you call it, advertise. I'm not advertising really well. Yeah, but I do try to get on the community thing and at least a little bit in advance and let everybody know. That way, if you're following me, you'll get a notice. 30 minutes to an hour or so before I go on. But I'm bad at self promotion. I'm not in it really to do that. I mean, it would be nice or anything, but I feel like if I can't get on here on a regular schedule, then I shouldn't be doing any self promotion, because then it just makes people expect things that I can't produce yet. So there's a time coming where I will be able to. Just right now, it's not in the cards. I have, I mean, to be honest, I have a lot of people that I take care of in my house, and I just have no place to set anything up in how I could just walk in and turn it on. I have to set everything up, hook up all the wires and mics, and then when I'm done, I have to take it all apart and put it all away. And so when I finally get that place where I can set it up and leave it and come in and turn it on and go for it, I'll get a lot more regular. But like I said, like today was a pretty busy day. The other day, the sewer got blocked, and it was a trip. But yeah, so Adolf and I were out, and I have these microphones, these wireless mics, and I haven't had a chance to really try them. And I think the batteries were dead on the ones I put inside of Adolf's. I didn't check the level. I just turned it on and it was on, and then had him hook it up, but I didn't look at the battery level. So he was on for a couple of minutes, and then all of a sudden he got real quiet, unless he was next to me, and then I noticed you could hear him. Yosemite is what I was told. Yosemite. When I lived in Yosemite, they said Yosemite. That's what the natives called it, Yosemite. And that is what they said that means. Some of them are killers. And there's a lot of stuff around in Yosemite, a lot of lore. They don't talk about it. You have to hear it from the people that have been there for years and years, or the native people will talk about it, but they don't even hardly like to talk about it because it's not. But if you look, what you do is you look at the names of mountains and you can figure it out. Yeah, right. The Rangers know. The Rangers know. We interviewed a ranger. Uh, Jeff and I interviewed a ranger from Yosemite, and it was a lady, and she mostly worked at the gate, the main gate, 40 on Highway 41 going in, the one where you go through the tunnel and come out with the picture that everybody has. But she said that as she wrote a book about it, I think. I can't remember her name. But she said that she was every day as she was taking, the money and giving the pass to people, she was wondering which one wasn't coming home or coming out of the park, was going to disappear. There's that many people that disappear, and it isn't on the news, and they don't put it in the paper. Nobody hears about it. And I already knew this, you know, for a long time. And then to hear her say that, it was interesting. That's what she felt. So after she retired, she felt like she could write about it. But you can go on Google Earth and look up Evolution Valley. That's not in Yosemite, but it is between Yosemite and maybe closer to Kings Canyon National Park. And it is wilderness. There's no roads. You can only get in there around September, usually, because the snow isn't melted yet by September, right? So you have like a couple of months that you can get in there. But we interviewed this ranger that worked over there in Kings Canyon National Park, and some people that we know that know him. Actually, they turned us on to that guy, really. But they have 35 millimeter, and they've been filming them since the 50s, and they have all kinds of film and pictures and everything of these family of Bigfoot that live in Evolution Valley. But then when you look around on Google Earth and you look at the names of the mountains around Evolution Valley, they are the names of primate scientists. They, like, if you look up the names, you'll find out that these guys, they were scientists that were interested in primates, which is very interesting, I think. Very interesting. My video's lagging behind my voice. That doesn't surprise me. When it could be me, but I have a pretty good connection. Only I'm using, and I could be. I'm using the NVIDIA. I have a graphics card, a really expensive graphics card. And if you notice, the background's blurred. Like if I put my hand back here. Oh, it's not going to blur my hand, huh? Okay. So, but anyways, it blurs the background. It also takes out sounds. I could even change the background to a video. I don't like I could put a video on there. Let me see here. Background replacement. I can put it on performance, and then I can see. I'll put a video on there. There we go. I mean, it doesn't look that good. That's why I don't use it. But no green screen required. It comes from it comes right out of the graphics card. But it ain't that great. I mean, you can put pictures. And this is me and Adolph's trip up to the Kings. It's too dizzying. Let me change that back. I'll put it back to background blur. But yeah. Well, I have a decent camera. I'm using a Canon XA11 high def. And then I'm using a mixer board with a nice a nice microphone. I have several microphones. I'm not a big fan of Macs and Apple products or anything like that. I've been doing, I don't know about what you guys know about me, but I've been in the video side of things since video cameras even became a thing. I bought the very first Sony video camera when it came out, and it had a tape deck. So the camera was like $1,700 and the tape deck was almost $2,000. It was just a VHS, but that's what I started with long time ago. Yeah, I am. It's the RTX technology on the graphics card. They don't have it. They don't have it's new, brand new, and they don't have it uh, set up that good. And then when they first came out with it, uh, I think it's like the 2070, the GTX 2070, I think it's called. They use RTX, but only then they had the chip problem. And everybody was buying them to do cryptocurrency mining. So I was able to get one. It was still expensive. It was around $900 or something like that for this card. And it was a middle of the road card for the RTX too. I mean, they had higher ones, but everybody was buying them up to do cryptocurrency, and nobody could get them. And then they came out with like mine's 2070. They came out with the 2080, then the 2090, and then they came out with the 30s ones. And the 30 ones are a little bit better than the 20s cards, but still they have the same problem. If you watch people doing videos and they're using it, the best thing is the blur. You can blur your background, and then uh, it also helps. It has a sound in it where you can, if you have an air conditioner running or anything, it'll cut that out, or room echo in a big room. I got retired. I got retired in 2000. I worked at a casino as the marketing director, and I just got hired by Steve Wynn to work for him over 5 casinos. And I got hurt by a simple procedure called an angiogram, nearly lost my right leg, got put in a wheelchair for a long time. In fact, that's why Jeff got rid of me, was because I have problems and I can't keep up. And some days the pain is the with the lack of oxygen to my leg for, I think it was 7 or 8 days, it killed the nerves and all kinds of muscle and tissue, and even started killing the bone, because the nerves help the bone live. So when they do x-rays on my right leg, the bone is see-through kind of. I mean, it doesn't, I mean, it's real see-through. And they tell me I have to be really careful about stepping on, like with my foot, I can't step on the full step. I can't put just my toes on the step, because my weight can break my foot. It's so not good, right? And there's a lot of pain. The nerves got scrambled in the brain, so the brain thinks that there's pain all the time in the leg, even though there's not. The brain thinks there is. It got scrambled somehow, when it's the highest pain known to man. And there would be some days that I would, have something go down at my house, emergency, like the sewer clogging or something, where I wrestled this thing to unclog the sewer, and then I couldn't make the show the next day. In fact, I couldn't do anything for 3 or 4 days. That part right there, Jeff didn't like very much, because he couldn't count on me. And I told him going in that I had these problems, and I actually wrestled with it for probably a month when he asked me, if I would like to hang out with him and do these shows. I almost said no, because I can't count on my own self, that's why I don't commit on YouTube to a schedule, because I can't count on my own self to keep my own schedule. You know what I mean? And so I wish I could, and it just isn't in the cards right at this moment. That's why if I had it where I could set it up and leave it up, I could record things and then have it go on a schedule, you know what I mean? Recorded stuff on a schedule. And when I could, I would do lives. But it's kind of hard to do. And I rather do live than recordings, because I like hanging out with you guys and answering questions like I am right now. And yeah, the health comes first. It's sad. It's really sad. It's so limiting. You don't realize like how much you do. I mean, even like easy little, like a hike around the block, or little things, walking around Walmart, or just working on your car, and then the next day going for a drive, up to the hills. And if I did the work on the car, I probably can't do anything for 3 days, 3 or 4. And so you never really realize when you have something happen to you. And I wanted to sue. I know you say sue the crap out of them. In California, they capped the medical malpractice at $150,000 in 1975. So the most you could sue for was $150,000. And then the attorneys are telling me, I had to lose my leg, because if I went into court, even if I'm in a wheelchair, which I was for a while, a long time, long, too long, but they said that they wouldn't think it was that bad, and you wouldn't win. They said, lose your leg and come back, and then we'll sue. And then, they still said I had a lawsuit, but the attorneys work with the doctors, and I didn't know that. And so they were holding on to my case, and they held on to it until you have 3 years to sue. And then there's what they call a statute of limitations. You can't sue after 3 years when you know what happened, right? You have to know how it happened and everything. If you find out 10 years later, then that starts the toll of the 3 years. But if you know already what happened, the toll starts the day you know. Well, I knew almost right away. I mean, they were telling me I died on the table twice. They barely saved my leg, but they diced up the femoral nerve, and I already have 2 surgeries on the first surgery to save the leg, and then I had another surgery in 2015 to save the leg again, because the scar tissue started building up and pushing into the artery, and it had it down to 95% blocked, and I was losing my leg again. Didn't know it. The pain was way worse, and I went in complaining, and they checked it, and they're like, oh my God, we got to do surgery again. And so yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, 75 was when they changed the thing. And then they held my case, and 2 weeks before the statute of limitations ran out, I got a letter from the attorney that was supposedly working on it, and he wasn't. He sent me a letter saying that sorry, he couldn't do it because of a conflict of interest. which he didn't say what that was, even though I'd been told by other attorneys that they were on retainer by these doctors, or they couldn't get doctors to come in and testify against other doctors. I mean, I heard everything under the sun. And then I got a letter saying, you have 2 weeks. You have a really good case, but you have 2 weeks to find an attorney. After I already went through every attorney in my area, every attorney in LA, every attorney in San Francisco, finally found one in San Diego. And that guy was the one that, screwed me. And man, I wasn't very happy. Hey, Patrick, how's it going? But yeah, that's enough of me. But it is an interesting story. And on my YouTube channel, I have a video that I made a few years ago for my grandkids and stuff so that they would understand, and for everybody, describing what happens when your life can be turned upside down in one day, and describe the whole thing. Hey, into the nothingness. You're older than me? Really? That's good. You look good for your age. I'm about to turn 63, so I don't know if you're older than me or not, but yeah, see, it's not really an injury lawyer. It has to be a medical malpractice lawyer. And then after the statute of limitations ran out, I found out from an attorney friend that I made after the whole fact, that because I was making so much money at the casino and I was 40 years old. Yes, I'll be 63 in about 3 months. I was 40 when it happened, and I could have sued civilly from what I lost, right? I lost my income, I lost my ranch, I lost my stuff. I lost all the raises I would have got. And it would be I was making very good money. You don't work in casinos as an executive and not make good money. I mean, believe me, casino people make good money. And I wish I could still work there. I mean, because it's really fun and you make a lot of money. And you get to do a lot of cool stuff. I'm telling you, cool. Like I had tickets to the Super Bowl that I got for free with it came with the limo, picks you up at your house, takes you to the airport, flies you to the Super Bowl. It was when it was in Florida in 2000, I think, or 2001, one of those. And box seats. You stay in the same hotel as the players. You have lunch, dinner, and breakfast with the players, both teams. You get a signing time, where you could go in and get autographs and everything like that. Catered booth with food and everything you ever want. And then the limo takes you back to the airport. A flight home, a limo takes you from the airport to your home. And it was like 2 days or something like that. And it was all comped for me. And I mean, and then I didn't want to make everybody jealous that I got that. Because if everybody found out I got that, in the other executives and stuff like that, even though I could have got it, it wasn't where I could get in a lot of trouble for taking it. But I turned it into a giveaway at the casino. So I gave that away at the casino. It became one of my things that I gave away besides cars and all the other cash and all that stuff. And this guy won, and him and his best friend went, and they came back and they're all happy and they're telling me about it. I'm like, I don't want to know. Like, don't tell me. I'm going to go cry now, go to my office and cry for a couple days, see you in a couple days, that one really got me. But yeah, you see, it's when you realize what happened that hurt you, and how they hurt you, how the malpractice, when you realize that's when the time starts ticking. Well, I knew almost right away. I mean, I went in for the angiogram and I woke up in ICU for a whole day, and they were checking the pulse in my ankles, and it was like 7:30 in the morning when they did the angiogram. By 9 a.m. I was waking up in ICU. At 11:30 p.m. same day, they're letting me go, saying, and all they told me was the doctor wanted to keep an eye on me. And I was like, in the ICU? You would put me in a hallway to check pulses. You would not put me in the ICU. Like, that's expensive. Unless they were raking in on my insurance from the casino, which I had great coverage. Like, I don't know. It could have been that. But I still think I would have been in a hallway, and worst case, people would have been in the ICU. And I know what ICU is, I mean, everybody does. And then 8 days later, I was back and telling him that I couldn't walk, and my leg was white as a sheet of paper, like typing paper or fax paper. It was white and burning like it was on fire. And they did an ultrasound, and then they did another angiogram on the other side, and they found the blockage, and they found out they did it. And even the guy that did the second angiogram to find the blockage on the other side, he woke me up and gave me a picture of the blockage, and he put it on my chest, and he told me, sue him. He goes, sue him. And he was the coroner. He was the coroner too. I mean, he was a doctor, but he also was the coroner for the county. And he told me, sue. And I still couldn't sue. Even with all that, even with the picture, with everything, I still couldn't sue. They wouldn't. Every time I always heard that the attorneys were on retainer. The doctors pay sometimes as high as $35,000 a month to attorneys, malpractice attorneys all over the state, and they golf with them and everything, and they put them on retainer in case they do something, right? And then it's a conflict of interest because they're already hired by the doctor. And that's what I found out. And it was hard to find an attorney. And then I was told later by a friend after the fact after the 3 years that even if you were able to get to court, getting a doctor to testify against another doctor wasn't going to happen in California. No doctor was going to testify against a doctor. They weren't. It'd be like getting a cop to testify against a cop. Ain't happening. I mean, you'd have to go out of state and then pay through the wazoo, and they're not going to pay the upfront money because of the cap, $150,000. And the doctor might want $100,000 to testify against another doctor, and that had to be paid up front. And so, I mean, it was I got burned. I got ripped, totally ripped. I mean, it made me mad. It still makes me mad. I think it's unfair. I think they knew they were doing what they know what they were doing. And then after, I couldn't find a doctor to save my life. I needed doctors. I had all kinds of problems going on, and no doctor would see me. I mean, they would, and they would get my records, and then they would say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't see you, because they didn't want to get sued. That's what they told me. Like, why would I sue them? I mean, they didn't do it. I need help. I need meds. It messed up. One of the things it did was it messed up the nerves to where my brain is telling my blood vessels to clamp down all the time, to squeeze. So it makes my blood pressure like way up all the time, like stroke out blood pressure. And I'm on 3 blood pressure meds to get that down so I don't stroke out. And I have to have doctors to prescribe this stuff, but I couldn't get a doctor. They were all like, whoa, dude, no way. I mean, You guys don't have no idea how bad this is for me, you know. And I finally found a doctor, and it was actually a doctor I had before I got hurt that I seen when I was working in the casino industry, and he became a friend. And then I ran into him again, and he became my doctor. He's been my doctor ever since. And he sat and cried with me before a few times, you know, just because he knows it's totally unfair that what happened. And he doesn't really like to talk about it either. He'll talk about every subject. When we get on that subject, he gets really quiet. He don't want to really talk about it. And I don't blame him, you know, and he probably wouldn't be the one to testify either, you know, but it's too late anyways. Yeah, I was actually told by this attorney friend that I have now. He told me that that's one thing you don't know with attorneys and doctors. Actually, anyone really, but when you go to an attorney, you kind of want the top of the class, or you want the best attorney you could get. Well, you don't know. You don't know if the dude barely squeaked by, you know, and became an attorney. Same with a doctor, right? You don't know. You don't know if that dude barely made it through, you know, or tried a whole bunch of times and then finally made it through, or if you got the guy that was the top of the class. You don't know. You have no idea. Yeah. I wish I knew, you know. That would make a lot more sense. Yeah. I don't think he feels guilty. I think he feels helpless. Like he would want to help me, but there's no way of helping me. So I mean, he's doing everything he can to help me right now, but when it comes to that, his hands are tied. He can't do anything. And I think that makes him feel bad that his uh, people he hangs with, you know, and friends and stuff like that do that. And he's not like that. And but only, you know, like you know, he doesn't want to be put in the position, though. I know that. Oh man, I probably would have too. I probably would have been the tarred lawyer too, and a tarred doctor for that matter. You know, marketing, I was a whiz bang at it, man. I didn't even have a degree. It just came natural, and I could outdo everyone when it came to marketing. You know, like I screamed up to the top. I mean, started at $8 an hour and not even knowing if I was going to like the job or not. And it was so fun. They had to make me go home, you know. They put me on salary and I didn't have to go home if I didn't want to. And they would come in after 14 or 15 hours and tell me, "Yeah, go home." Then they would call me 4 hours later, like, "You got to come back, you know, there's an emergency, you know." Yeah, yeah, okay. They had me over. I was actually the marketing director, food and beverage director over two restaurants and two bars, and also the computer. That was the computer administrator, right? They don't call them directors; they call them administrators. So I was in charge of three separate departments, and I had quite a few people under me, and I didn't do everything like everyone else either. I was way different. Like um, a lot of the directors and managers and stuff, they would run around with pink slips. You get three, you're fired, and that's how they motivated people. You know, walk around, hey, you know, I caught you, you know, and they would write them up, and they had their little pink slip pad in their back pocket. I don't even know where my pink slip pad was, right? I carried dinner for two tickets, movie tickets that were good. I would buy like a lot, you know, like a box, which they called lots of tickets, not like a lot of stuff, but I mean a lot of numbers, but I would carry these, like, I don't know, 50 movie tickets that are good for a whole year and put them in my back pocket. And when I caught people going the little extra on there, doing the little extra, I would make a big deal of it in front of everyone. And I didn't scold people for not doing what they're supposed to do. I would give tickets to them, like, how many people's in your family? 6, 8? You want to bring some friends too? I would give them 20 tickets to the movies, make a big party of it. And everybody wanted those, or the dinner for two, or game tickets, or concert tickets, whatever was, hot going down that I was either sponsoring or I had friends doing it. I would buy a lot of tickets and I would give them away. Hey, R. Gonzalez. And I would give those away. And the other directors would be like, when we were having meetings, they'd be like, dude, how do you get those guys to do that? They would jump off a cliff for you. When they see me coming, they run and nobody will talk to me. It was like, oh yeah, you have the pink hammer pad in your pocket. That's what's your problem, dude. And I really enjoyed it, and I love working. So it's kind of hard not to work. And I talked about this way too long. This is not Squatch Zone, but I guess it is about me, and I want you guys to know about me, because I feel like we're really friends, that not subscribers and viewers and whatever. I am friends with everyone first. But everybody can be whatever they want to be, I guess. But I do I enjoy, like, when Jeff and I kind of went our ways, I almost didn't come back to the camera, and I almost totally just quit. And but only I had too many people supporting me, and saying to come back, So it's like, all right, I will, and I'll try to be on a schedule, but when you can't even make your own schedule, then for your own self and keep it, you can't make a schedule for everyone else and then let them down. I can't do that. So I'm not ever going to say I'm on a schedule until I can. And then I will let you guys know. It's not too far away, though. That's exactly, AC. Exactly. And then, it says I have a ton of people watching anyway, 17. I guess if I went and got content and stuff, I probably could get a lot more. And if I got more regular, I could get a lot more. And I quit talking about what I'm talking about, I could get a lot more, probably. I'm not sure about that, though. I don't think it's that hard. But I got this new microphone thing, and I really want to share. Maybe it's this one. I don't want it to. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, I'm going to turn it down a little bit.
Yeah,
can you guys hear me while it's playing, or should I turn it up?
It just turns on.
See, I'm wearing a wireless mic. You can see it on me.
And I wanted to see
how far could we walk before it cuts out.
Over here.
Because my idea is
got some mud hens over here
to have the microphone on me when we go squatching and hiking, and instead of carrying that camera with me, I could set it up and we can do our exploring around, and I'll carry a little handheld camera So like if I see tracks or anything like that, I could use the other camera and zoom in on it and talk about it. You guys could hear me talking about it through the microphone. And then
They didn't like me.
hey, I dig Daytona. What's up,
They
man?
don't like me. Those aren't berries. Those are stickers, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to step on those suckers.
No.
Dried up.
That's the ones like Velcro.
Yeah. That's probably where they got the idea from.
Yeah, see, back over that way when I was over there, where those trees over there, there's the deer. It looks like the deer got in there and was laying in the water, half like on the grass, and eating everything. You could see where they were eating it. I don't know how far they go, these things. And I probably ain't gonna put it on YouTube. I'm just doing a test, make sure it works. But if it worked really good, and yeah, that's a weird looking track, huh?
Oh, that's a hill, huh? Somebody's walking like this?
I think so.
Oh, no, there's a front part. Are they going like that?
And they were walking on their heels?
I don't know. I don't know, that was weird.
That
Oh, there
is.
it is.
Oh yeah, the whole thing, huh? They're just not heavy enough.
Has to be some kind of lure or weight or something.
See, those look like ducks right there. Those look like ducks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, both of them. Female and male.
Breeding pair, or mates. A mating pair. See, I thought I'd find driftwood up here, but there's nothing. But I found the perfect one. My little golden, puffy lip plecos are gonna love it.
It's all mine. Get away.
I'm gonna try to, like, they have these little ceramic things. I'm gonna see if I can buy some of those. And they're just little tubes, and they could go in there, and when they reach a certain age, they'll go in there and lay eggs. And the female will go in, lay the eggs, the male will fertilize it, and then the female leaves and the male stays until they hatch. Man, back over that way, there's a bluebird pile. All nothing but feathers, blue jay.
That's where it got eaten.
Yeah, it did good. It got eaten right there. Here we go.
Oh, that's cool.
And the steel leader.
Maybe there'll be something on
Thought I found an arrow for a second. Say, I going down.
Because the grass is still.
A little bit, huh? Like foot.
Damn, now you got me confused. What's the name of that?
Too bad it wasn't worth money. I'll be picking it. Like a quartz. It looks like it got busted.
Yeah.
These have gold.
It started getting the 5 edges to it,
Yeah.
but it didn't quite get there.
Somebody's stringer.
Yeah.
Only it's not any good. They lost the ring. Might be
Yeah,
here.
that's what I was just thinking. It might be speaking of.
A lot of nasty stuff. Oh, here's some more driftwood.
I heard a good investigation. They know the Aztecs came from the north, ended up, and where they lived that was on an island that was surrounded by water. Ended up, that describes Salt Lake City. There's a big island.
Oh.
And on their legend says that there's white birds flying, pelicans and seagulls all that. And so it describes that pretty good. Even when they talked to the ranger, they found a lot of old sites there. And then there was a newer site. And it matches the time when they got to Mexico 100 years later, they're traveling. And it matches the time when it declined there, and when they re-showed up, they went back home.
Oh yeah, but they call it Atland or
Aslan.
Aslan.
But Aslan, they use that. Somebody used that word over there. It's not part of the Aztecs. This guy explained it.
Dang.
He came up with the name and all that. But now they're thinking that they may be the free.
They
Arizona, and they don't know what happened to them. So they think they may be the Aztecs.
could
The
be.
Fremont left about the same time also. It was a pretty good show. They had scientists there, rangers, people that did all the archaeology sites. I'm gonna look at it again.
And there's a lot of. It's like the third sandal I seen.
How can you lose a sandal?
It looks. They all look broken. And you wouldn't want to walk around here barefooted, like you said, man.
Yeah.
There's deer tracks right here.
But yeah, so this new technology I'm gonna use, I'm I'm excited for it. I haven't got to play with it very much. And why I was a little bit later tonight. I wanted to use it tonight in here instead of this thing, but I couldn't get it to connect, and I didn't want to spend an hour figuring it out. I know it's something really simple, but I was trying to run it through an audio mixer, and then I put it on the camera, and then nothing was working. So it has something to do with my graphics card going through the NVIDIA thing. It was making everything freeze up. So I had to, just totally abandon that and put a directly wired mic. Yeah. But I tried. And this is going to be great for out hiking because you can actually, I'll be videotaping with two cameras. I'll have one that I'm carrying and one static sitting on a tripod and walking around. You'll be able to hear everything that we're talking about, not no matter how far we get, but we can get pretty far, as you can see. And we'll never get that far, though. Believe me, that's far. We went way over there. And that was the whole idea, was to see how far could we go before it cut out. Now, I'm going to be within 100 feet of the camera, usually way inside of that, probably more like 50 or 60 feet. I'm never going to go as far as we went, not even half that distance. But with the camera I'm carrying, whatever we're seeing or talking about, I'll be able to be filming it with the one in my hand. And in edit, I can switch cameras, and I can just leave the audio track alone. And so if we're seeing some tracks, I'll be zooming in on the tracks with the camera in my hand, and we'll be talking about the tracks, so the audio will stay there, but the shot will change to exactly what we're looking at. And then if there's nothing there, and I'll switch it back to the static shot, where you can see. And because I feel like that when we're out there, the Bigfoot are around, and I mean, they make noises and they may be showing their self, but not to us, right? And we'll have our back to them, and they'll move or something like that, and we won't see it, but you guys in this camera will, hopefully. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. And I'm going to try to use this little trick thing, a lot. Like I always wanted to put one on, like a GoPro on my back or something, and I never could afford a GoPro. And then I talked about it a lot, probably for when they first came out, the GoPros and stuff. And I wanted to put one on my back because I knew they were moving behind me, but I never could. And now I see a lot of people doing it, and they've caught Bigfoot moving behind them on those cameras, like Scott. I can't remember, Scott Carpenter. He's got some really amazing stuff. I mean, if you guys haven't heard of him, I would go check out Scott Carpenter's YouTube channel and check it out. I mean, he has portals and all kinds of stuff that come from the back of where he's filming in the back, and he never saw it with his eyes. He saw it later. And that's exactly what I'm hoping to do here, but only have the camera like maybe in the car or looking like out the window. And I'm going to have to put a piece of tape over. There's a light that lets you know when you're recording on the front of it. I need to put a piece of tape over that because I can close the little viewer. I could close the little viewer, and there's no lights on it. You don't know if it's on or not on. And I could have it like in the car with the window down, and they'll, hopefully they're not smart enough, or they don't figure out right away what I'm doing. And then as we turn our back and start walking back to the camera, you might, even all of us really will be able to see them exposing their self, thinking they're hidden, though, that we're not looking. And the camera will be looking, because I'll have the other camera, of the other camera in my hand, and they'll think that's the one I'm using, and they will be moving behind us, like they do with Scott Carpenter and stuff. So that's what I wanted to. That's what I've been wanting to do. This is my new little trick. Even though I never got to do the back cam thing, I want to do this one because I have a feeling it could get results. And then Adolf, that picture you showed, I don't know if I could show that. I didn't load it on my computer, but I have the shot. We were in the shot. Did you notice that the hill over there, that's the shot? Only you were more zoomed in, way more zoomed in. And I do have a video with more zoomed in, but I was panning really fast, so I have to put it in the editor and cut it up, clip that part out, and I can slow it way down, maybe even pause it and zoom even further, and we could see what that is sitting. It looks like something sitting there on that hill. And there's so many sightings over there. It's off the chart all the time. And so it could be something sitting over there. It really could. And it's not a person because of where it's sitting. There's no trail. There's no road going there. It would be a far hike to get to it. And it doesn't look like a person anyways. It looks like a shadow, if anything, or a stump or something, but it could be something else. It doesn't have to be a stump. And then today they came out with the new Mavic Pro 3 with a zoom, 28 times zoom, 2 cameras on it. I wanted to buy a new drone, and I was thinking I wanted a smaller one, or so that the FAA wouldn't get on my case. But the FAA gets on your case no matter what size drone. But I don't have a zoom, and this is a Mavic. The one I have is a Mavic, and the Mavics are like the best of the prosumer drones. So now they came in, like, go look up Mavic 3. Man, this thing it's more pro than Sumer. I'll tell you that. It's more pro than Sumer. A little more expensive though than the original Mavic Pro and the Mavic Pro 2. The Mavic Pro 3 is really killer. And now I want to get that one. I'm going to start saving my money for that one. That one, it would be the last drone you ever need, really. I mean, it is really nice. Yeah, exactly. They can't show more than 4K. And you know what? I never do anything over 1080p, because high def is high def. When you're talking about 4K and stuff like that, like 10K, 1080p is this big, say, okay? 4K is just a little bit bigger picture, just more information in there. It's still high def, right? 2.5K. It just makes the picture bigger. That's all. That's it. It's high def. Everybody thinks it's, everybody goes for the big numbers, forever. you got to have the biggest, baddest, 4K, 2.5K. This new drone has 5K. Like what? Wow, 5K in a little bitty drone. So that means it's still it's in your picture, but it's not in my picture. Is that what you're saying? Like the one that I had. Let me see here. So it's not that one. It's not. I think it is this one. Let me see. Let me open it up. Okay, so this one. Let me turn down the sound.
It's pretty low. Flat to see how.
Okay. It's going to come around. Okay, so that's the tree right there, right? That's the tree. And then it was right in here somewhere. See, and this is before we started walking, okay? This is before we started walking. Let me make this the whole thing here. Let me see. I don't know how to do that, but yeah, I froze it because that shot, Adolf has a shot. I don't know if I can, it would take me a minute to get it, but Adolf, in that shot that where I had it frozen across the lake, there was a little hill and Adolf found something sitting there looking at us. And that shot that I had frozen right there, or really paused, it was the exact shot that Adolf had, and it was before we took off walking with the microphones. Hey, Brown Dwarf, how are you, buddy? Long time no see. But he says it's not in the shot that I was just showing you. It's not in it. So he caught something with his cell phone, and I don't know if he took it after we walked with the microphones or before we walked with the microphones, because we were there for a while. I took quite a bit of video from there, and I was going to edit some stuff, but I was so excited to be out that I wasn't minding my P's and Q's with my camera. I know better than to make everyone sick, and turn the camera real fast and all that. And I wasn't really paying attention. I was just so excited to be outside doing something that I haven't had a chance to do in weeks. So I was, and I also was thinking I wasn't going to put it on YouTube or do anything with it. It was just going to be my own personal video. So I didn't care that the pan was going quick, or if I zoomed in so fast, it would make you slam your head on the TV when I stopped, stuff like that. And even though I know better, I do know better. And usually I don't, unless I get excited, I keep everything at a slower pace, so you don't spin out of your chair or something when I turn the camera. Yeah, it has been a while, my brother. What have you been up to? Been out squatching lately? Are you still in the Northern California area? Because I don't even think I've seen any videos of yours pop up, unless they've been shadow banning me really bad. That like they don't give me all the alerts on everybody anymore. I don't know why. And I have a feeling they don't alert everybody when I put a video, and it might be because I pray for people at the end. I know that when you do that kind of stuff and you talk about God and stuff like that, they really shadow ban you. So you're in Oregon. Dang, you're even better. Even better Squatch area. Are you like in northern, southern, eastern? Like Medford, something like that. You have to make a little drive to get out, get off that 99. So yeah, so I'm excited about these microphones. I've been sitting on them. They're about, like, if you're going to buy them retail, they're about $275, but that's not bad for two microphones and a receiver. Let's see, two transmitters and one receiver that hooks to your camera. You can hook it onto any camera, and you could even hook it to a cell phone and be wireless. I mean, it's perfect. And I found them. I have a lot of friends in the video business. Oh, in the foothills. That's where my boss used to work, in the foothills. I lived in Ashland, so a little more south of you when I lived there. I split my time between Klamath and Ashland. And when deer season, we were in Klamath, and we went hunting in the Cascades above Klamath, and that's when my tent disappeared. But yeah, I got these microphones, and I wanted to try this. Wow, it's hot in here. I'm getting hot. And I can't wait to try it and see what we can make happen. Because but anyways, I have a lot of friends in the video production business, and one of them in LA had one, bought this, and then couldn't use it, right? It wound up being that they weren't going to use it after all in the production. So they had it sitting there, not even opened. I mean, like in the box. And she said, tell you what, I've had it for like 7 months sitting in my closet in the box, not even opened. I mean, completely not open. And I'll sell it to you for $75. And I'm like, sold, bought it right on the spot. And she sent it to me. Now, it's not the best ones. They have 3 different types. There are 2 microphones and 1 receiver, which is very rare. Most of the time it's like $300 just for the transmitter, $300 just for the receiver, and it only comes with 1 microphone, so you pay like $600 or $700, you got 1 microphone wireless. Now Comica, these are Comicas or Comica or whatever they say it. These are the plastic ones, made out of plastic. It's the same as all the other ones, except for only they have metal case. And they pretty much do. All of them have the same thing, except you pay $100 more for that metal case. And I'm not going to be throwing them around or anything, or, having a lot of different talent or crew members using them. So it's just going to be me. I don't think I'm going to break them. So I went for the cheap ones. Not cheap, but plastic. That's how to save the money. And yeah. See, it got away, huh? It moved. Wow, dude. I'm gonna have to come on again and get these pictures together, and then we'll talk about it, okay? Because I can and you don't have to if you don't want to come on with me and talk about it, but if you want to, you can. I don't have to show you, but like if we want to sit and chat about these pictures, and we'll put the pictures up and talk about them, because I think something was there when I was looking at what you showed me from your cell phone, but I couldn't find it in mine. Even though I was going over it real fast, I had some plumbing issues that was taking me immediately away from my computer and all that stuff. I don't believe that either, Brown Dwarf. I do not believe it was hydration or dehydration. All of them, even the dog, at the same time, they all fall down on the trail dead. The kid too. I mean, that doesn't sound like it. I don't know. I'll share some of the video. I'll load up some videos so that you can look at them and stuff and do comparisons. Did that work when did that work? The HDMI cable, did that work for you to put it on your TV so you could see it better than just looking at your phone? I forgot to ask you if that worked or not. Yeah, me too. What happened? Remember Casey Anthony? It was on TV every day. Casey Anthony, and they were following the lady around, and oh man, I mean, the whole drag her through court. I mean, how come they don't do that no more? They rather follow Trump around or all the other stupid garbage. But here we have family that died of unknown causes that we should know about. I mean, we should get to the bottom of it. You know what I mean? Like they should be getting to the bottom of it. and nobody's getting to the bottom of it. And it seems like the police are hiding the actual reason, even though they said they don't know really what killed them. They even said they were just guessing on the hydration part. I mean, that was just a guess. They have to know more than that. I mean, with today's technology, you could figure it out. And I know they did an autopsy on everything, even the dog. Well, you guys, I did my 2 hours. My wife is in. She just came in and gave me the look. I could sit here another hour, though. I'm enjoying myself. You guys are great. I love you guys. You guys are the best. And I was thinking the same thing, AC. Like, what about if it was Bigfoot did it, but was using the low frequency thing? What if they ran into something like that? And what if it was the mean one? Because over there, I heard there's mean ones. In fact, the weekend that happened, we were out investigating a mean one not far from there. Yeah, the look. Yeah, it was like, if looks could kill, I would be dead right now. That's too funny. Yeah, and then it was the exasperated look after that, like how far can he go? He talks a lot. Just 1 more hour. Yeah, right. She'll kill me if I try that. I had to run the grandkids out of here to be able to even set up tonight. They didn't like that. They wanted to be laying on my bed playing whatever they were playing, some games on the little tablets and stuff like that. And I ran them all out, them and the dog, they all had to go. Yeah, so that is a trip that they didn't notify you. Well, it doesn't surprise me because they've been shadow banning me when I put things up. People are always telling me you were on and I didn't catch you, but it didn't say, I mean, a lot of people tell me that. Yep. I think we should go back and take more video and pics. Really, we should. And we should check that out really thoroughly. And this time, like, focus. I can really zoom around. I'll bring the drone and we'll fly a little bit too, and get over in those areas because it's wide open. I could fly the drone right over in there. I would be loving to fly that new drone. Oh my God, with the zoom on it. Holy cow. Yep. Well, you guys, I gotta go. I will, but only I want to pray for everyone. Oh, that made her smile when I said I was going to pray for everyone. Well, I want everybody to know I love you guys and I care for you. And I know right now it isn't just hard for me in this climate of. I want to say one thing, though, about climate change before I go. Look up volcanoes. And we've been having some sunspot activity or CMEs or whatever they call it. And usually when we have CMEs, hey, Rob, how are you? So you can't hook an HDMI cable to your cell phone and run it to your TV? I think you can, only I might need to add something to it, Okay, do that. Yeah. Yeah, the CMEs, they're having them still. And when they do that, volcanoes wake up and they start going off. And they have, last I looked, it was probably about 8 volcanoes spewing ash all over the place. There's your climate change right there. That makes climate change. Us driving around in our cars, that's not climate change. In fact, if you really look into solar power, all that energy that they want to go to, they can't go to it. It's impossible. I mean, they're almost at the max technology for it already. If they're going to do anything that's going to a different energy, it's going to be radiation energy, like nuclear in a small scale. But they're not going to be able to push solar or wind this very much further than they are right now. And I tell you what, I mean, you got your Tesla car and you're going to go cruising California. California is a big freaking state. And you're not going to drive the whole thing before you have to charge your car up. And then all the everything they had to do to make this technology, the batteries, the solar panels, and then you're hooking onto a grid of other power to charge your car up, right? It isn't as clean as they're letting on and telling you. And then they have people, I can't remember what they call it, but people are ticked off about it, about these charging stations and stuff, and they go and park in front of them. I saw one the other day where there was like 4, 5 charging stations, and a guy pulled up, a contractor, and he had a big trailer behind him, and he went and he parked in front of all of them and went into the McDonald's, and there was all these people wanting to pull in and charge. I think it was on a main freeway or something. I thought that was so funny, But if you really look at solar, you'll find out it isn't all that in a bag of chips, and it's almost pushed as far as they can get it to go right now. So it'll be interesting to see what else they can do. Yeah, like you get those little power banks, to charge up your phones and stuff. It has a cell thing on it or a solar panel, But if it takes a week to charge that darn thing up or more, so, and I had one, I was playing with it and charging my phone with it, and it couldn't charge it. Like once it got down, the power bank got down, that solar panel on the power bank couldn't charge up fast enough to make the next charge once it got down low. And I had it in the sun the whole time. Yeah, I'll bring the drone. The last time I remembered everything but the drone. I had everything but the drone. I felt so stupid when I got out there, and I forgot to charge the batteries. I plugged it all in, like charging the batteries, but I didn't have the charger plugged in. And I thought I was charging the batteries. And I got up in the morning and was packing everything up, and I realized everything was still dead. And I was like, what the heck? And then I followed the cord, and I realized the cord was unplugged. So I wasn't charging anything, And I felt so stupid when I got out there without, and I had to leave the drone at home. But that is now plugged in though, and I will charge. It will charge when I plug those batteries in. Yeah, you can. In some places, like you can see old volcanoes. You can go on Google Earth and see all that stuff. When you go in Yosemite, that's where you can see the Ice Age stuff. That's what made Yosemite, a glacier from the Ice Age, cut the Half Dome and all that supposedly. But we really don't know. I mean, we're guessing, but they can guess pretty good with the evidence they have now, though. But it was like, why did it cut that so clean over there, and on the other side it didn't? Just a thought, just a thought. Yeah. Well, you guys, I gotta get. It's time to go. It's getting late. I gotta clean this up before anybody can get in bed because I should turn the camera so you could see, but she would be in the shot and she would get mad at me, so I won't. But only let me pray for everybody. I want to pray that everybody's health is that your blood is whole from now on. Your bones are healed, your muscles are healed, your brain is healed, your chemical area, chemical things in your body, chemicals in your brain are all right and the way they're supposed to be. I pray every avenue or every place in your life be blessed abundantly. Your health, your finances, your living situation, how everything's impacting you, abundantly blessed, abundantly taken care of. And I pray that on everyone that could hear this in Jesus' name, amen. Yeah, it's like the Grand Canyon. It took millions of years to carve the Grand Canyon. Actually, it was probably a couple days. It was from the flood. The flood, like, go outside and put a whole bunch of dirt and then take a bucket and wash it, and you can make a little mini Grand Canyon. I think it was all done like that. It wasn't millions of years, going down. I think it was done pretty quickly, and it's been there like that. And every human since then happened onto the Grand Canyon and seen it just like it is today. I believe that, man. I do believe that. Like the Earth is flat. I'm probably gonna get killed for that, but that's the biggest one for me is the Earth is flat. Really, get a telescope and go out and look at all the planets that you could see. Are any of them flat? Not a one. Why would ours be flat then? I mean, come on. I agree, killed by Bigfoot. There would be. Exactly. There you go. There's your sign. I mean it. And I'm not laughing at you. This is serious right here. There would be. Everybody needs to get a clue, huh? All right. So I got to go. 2 hours and 13 minutes. Not too bad. Not too bad. You guys are so cool. Thank you so much for joining me tonight and hanging out and talking about all the different things we talked about. And I'll see you the next time. And I'll talk to Adolf. Maybe we could come on in the middle of the week sometime and talk about this a little more, about what was sitting over there that isn't in the shot I have, that's in the shot he has. Okay, you guys, we'll see you pretty soon.